Hello, my darlings. Angel the Assassin is now out. It came out the 30th, the hardcover came out the 30th of December 2020. It's available on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and ebook on Amazon. It is the second in the series. The first in the series is Red's Revenge, and it is also on Amazon. It's also in 19 different countries. The hardcover and the paperback is available in 19 countries. So I'm going to read you just a little bit about Angel the Assassin, just the first chapter. And the first chapter is entitled The Target. Lisa lay on her back in her nest, her eyes closed and her forearms across her eyes to block out as much sun as possible. Her Enfield 303 World War I British sniper rifle lay beside her. God, I wish they would quit arguing and just go, Lisa said for the umpteenth time. Lisa had parked in the town below her, just off a two-lane road on the side of a hill. She had strolled up the hill picking wildflowers. When she got to the right spot, she laid out her canvas pad and settled into her sniper's nest. She checked her infield, making sure her scopes were set to compensate for variables of distance, wind, and drop rate. Her target was due in the exercise yard at any minute. I got one shot, she said over and over. Master Sergeant Lips, her dad, and all the other sergeants had driven that into her head. One shot per target. The infield didn't have a silencer. The shot would be loud. It could be easily heard over a half a mile away. She couldn't take a chance of someone being able to locate the shot. One shot only, she said as she rolled over. Her target came into the yard. He took the top seat of a three-tiered bleacher next to the wall, in the sun. The target's fat face came into view as a car stopped in the turnout below her. Damn, Lisa said, rolling over on her back. Two car doors slammed as the man and the woman began yelling at each other. I guess he cheated on her. Whatever, Lisa thought, her eyes hidden from the sun. Lisa really didn't understand rage. At 16, she had never had a relationship or even friends anywhere near her age. The sergeants were older men. Then there was her mother, aunt, and Dr. Sharon. That was the extent of her world. Come on, dump him already, she said, checking her watch. The target is only going to be in the yard for another 20 minutes or so. The crawlers had quit yelling. A few minutes later, she heard the car doors close, and a minute later, they drove off. Finally, she said, rolling over. She pulled the infield to her shoulder. She lined up the target and slowly let out breath as she squeezed the trigger. That instant, a bald head popped up in her scope. She quickly ejected the spent round. Click, click, and the second round was on its way. She saw the first round enter the back of the bald head. It came out of his forehead, hitting the target in the chin. As the bald head dropped away, seconds later, she saw the target's head jerk back as the second round hit the target in the nose. Blood spattered on the wall behind the target. Lisa rolled up her nest around her infield, making sure the ejected cartridges were in the bundle. She walked down the hill, the bundle under one arm, the bouquet of wildflowers in the other. Lisa held the bouquet to her nose, taking in their fragrance. She thought, they smell so nice and clean. She got into her car. She slid the bundle into the compartment she had built under the car and took off the rubber band from her hair and shook out her hair. She wrapped the rubber band around the wildflowers, making a lovely bouquet, setting the wildflowers on her seat beside her. Lisa drove down the road, which connected the main road south of Lompoc Prison. She turned south and came to a roadblock less than a half-mile away. A prison pickup truck was blocking the way. 2 guards were checking southbound cars. There were 2 police cars parked in the northbound lane. A guard approached Lisa's car as she rolled down her window. What are you doing here? He said, putting both hands on the door. Not waiting for an answer, he said, driver's license, holding out his hand. Her wallet was sitting on the seat next to the flowers. She quickly checked the license to make sure it was the right license, and then handed it over to the guard. What are you doing way up here? The license says you live in Corona del Mar. That's way south of here, the guard said, looking around inside the car. Well, yes, Lisa decided to take a page from the lover's quarrel. My boyfriend and I broke up last night. I caught him cheating on me. I just decided to take a drive this morning to get it together. I found a field with these wildflowers, so I picked some. That's not illegal, is it? She asked in her most innocent voice. Please get out of the car, the guard said, stepping back. Lisa unfolded her long, slim body out of the car, holding down her dark green mini dress as she did. She was wearing a matching blouse and tennis shoes. At 16, she stood 5'10" and another 2 inches to grow, mostly adding to her already long legs. Open the trunk, the guard ordered. Lisa took the keys from the ignition and opened the trunk, stepping back. The guard looked around the empty trunk, pulling up the floorboards to check the spare compartment. He left everything laying open and slammed the lid. Looking Lisa up and down, he said, "Okay, over here," directing her to the side of the car. "Hands on the roof, spread your legs." Lisa began to search. He began his search with her bare arms, his lips inches from her neck. His hands came down to her shoulders, then around to her small breasts. He started down to her waist. A loud horn blast from the car behind that caused the guard, Lisa, and the cops all to jerk their heads to the honking horn. The woman behind the wheel was shaking her finger at the guard, saying, "No, you don't." The top cop called the guard over for a few words. The guard returned, handed Lisa her license, and said, "You can go." Lisa turned and gave the woman a great smile and mouthed the words, "Thank you." 5 miles later, Lisa pulled over in a parking lot. "Wow," she said, putting her shaking hands on the steering wheel. Putting her head on her hands, a chill after chill ran up and down her body. "Damn," she said, trying to take a breath. Lisa had never shot a live target before. She could still see the bullet hitting the target's fat face in the nose. The bald head popping up like that shook her. Then it hit her. 2 shots. Master Sergeant would not have liked that. Anyway, 2 hits. She said, her head still down. She was trying to wipe the image from her head. "I got felt up," she said as she jerked her head up. "Ew! He just grabbed me. He should not have done that." But her nipples became involuntarily hard looking at her flowers. "I could have ended a lot worse real fast if he had gotten any lower." The chill ran through her body again, causing her to shake her head and shoulders. If it hadn't been for that woman, well, I don't know. Lisa took a deep breath and put her car in gear, heading back to Newport Beach. She and her mother had an appointment that afternoon with Dr. Sharon in the lair, her mom's word for the psychologist interrogation room. Lisa pulled into the parking space, the same parking space she had first come to 4 years ago. Everything was different. She was 12 and had not found herself. She didn't even know where to look. The target's face flashed back at her and made her shake. Lisa had an hour before her mother and hers appointment. Lisa was drained. The only energy left in the car lay in the bouquet of flowers next to her. Lisa closed her eyes and her mind went back to the time 4 years ago, a painful, exposed, confusing, embarrassing time. A time before she knew Lisa, a time before she even had a name, a time when she was still a he. First chapter. So that's the story. It's available on also my website, Jane's Adventures in Storyland. I lost a little sign, or janeinstoryland.com. Either one, www.janesadventuresinstoryland.com or www.janeinstoryland.com. Take it the same place. I have a bunch of poems and other things that are available there. Also my books, Assassin, Red's Revenge, The Red Bitch's Revenge, and the first novel is Identity. So you're welcome to see all those. All you boys and girls, be good to each other. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve, and I hope that the next year is so much better than the other one. Happy New Year. Bye.